Isaac and I will go alone,
Why, Isaac?
because the Lord commands it.
Make sure no harm comes to our son.
I love that when we're telling this huge, biblical story of Abraham and Isaac and Sarah, that it also, the film has an international flair to it. I mean, you grew up in Iran, you lived in London and Europe, you've been in the States. Maybe talk to me a little bit about how that all could help inform the character that we see on screen.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think also Nicholas being from Lebanon. What's wonderful about art and generally movies right now is that we're hoping to see a world that is closest to us, and how the world has become this like melting pot of people from different backgrounds and different ethnicities and different religions. I mean, I was born a Muslim. I grew up in a very oppressive society when it came to women, and just, in a lot of ways, the emancipation of women felt like the demise of the Islamic nation, and we were constantly told that. So I sort of, that journey pushed me into figuring out my own sort of path towards spiritual awareness and my own God. In Farsi, God is Khoda, which is short for Be Khoda, meaning come to yourself, come to oneself. And I think one of the most beautiful parts of this project was how spiritually fulfilling it was for me. I mean, just right off the bat from the start, how I wasn't supposed to audition for it. I went to this big casting the building, and I was there in support of my friend, and I just basically sat outside, saw the sides. I was like, this is one of my most favorite stories, and I had done it before in school, and I was like reading it, and then Roman opened the door, and he was like, are you here to audition? No, I'm not here to audition. What's your name? Sarah. And he goes, oh, we're auditioning for Sarah, come in. And that the rest is history. And at no point I felt like an outsider through every part of it. I mean, the way David delved into scripture for me, how over hours we would just talk about what it means to me as a person and my journey, and how I felt so good about that, coming from a background where I felt like even if I were to convert, there's like this hadith that you're not supposed to convert as a Muslim, but how can you for fact infer someone's a true believer if they have no choice in choosing otherwise? So this was in a lot of ways an awakening, even for me. So I hope everyone who watches this not only sees that people from all parts of the world are part of it, but also people who have had different belief systems.
So many of your scenes are very emotional.
Yeah.
Getting to that place, what did that look like for you?
I was very blessed with an incredible acting partner who's generous, giving, has that sort of generosity of spirit. He's also very well versed, and it never felt like out of tune. I had the guidance of David throughout. They created this very, very safe space for me to explore the character and delve in deep. And at times it felt like it was just organically happening. We were there, we were told where we're going to sit and the choreography of this scene, and obviously what we had to say. And kudos to David's wonderful writing, which is so relevant and modern even. And we shot, and I remember there were scenes that we only shot maybe twice, or obviously from different angles, and he felt like that was it, we got it. So it was just like, yeah, I mean, to your point, I say this always, I say, I became an actor because it ignited the greatest sense of vocation in me to tell the stories that help us get closer to each other.
And I think at first you might think, oh, Abraham and Isaac, this is a father-son story, which it absolutely is. But also Sarah plays such an important role in it, and it's a mother's journey.
Yes,
and many people struggle with infertility, and when is it my time, and what's that going to look like? And
when
then
is it my time? Absolutely.
And, right, and
yeah,
and then also the idea of then this child that might be taken, and she's not even aware. At the end, I was like, don't tell mom any of this happened.
yeah, like everyone relates to that.
Yeah.
Everyone relates to that.
Yeah.
But then also like how this is so wonderful that you mentioned, because I feel like a lot of what we hear about biblical stories and religious stories and faith-based films doesn't put women at the forefront. And in a lot of ways, it reminds me of what my grandmother used to say, which is in my big fat Greek wedding. She says, a man might be the head of the family, but the woman is the neck who turns him into every direction. And that's what I feel like we see in a lot of ways with Sara, even though she's not told. I feel like at times I was like, she knows. She knows. She's just putting her trust and relying on her faith. She knows what's going to happen. And, we all see it differently. But for me, it feels like, yeah, she knows something's up.
Yeah.